can't spectate off you yet. Oh, there you go. I can see it is on the stream now. All right, so picks and bans. On blue team, we have Lee Sin, Vi, and Amumu all banned. Those aren't bans we see every day, but they're all quite understandable. They're all strong champions in their own right, and they all have a lot of jungle presence. So that's definitely understandable picks, bans. And then on purple team, we have Thresh, Jax, and Gragas all banned. Those are all, again, pretty common bans. Jax is making a comeback in top lane, especially since a lot of popular top lanes have been banned or nerfed since then. So all good bans. On blue team, we have Heimerdinger mid, Pantheon top, Jinx and Karma bot lane, and Mundo in the jungle. I would have expected to see Pantheon and Mundo switched in roles, but that's a very strong team comp, very scary. Purple team, we have Vel'Koz mid, Kha'Zix top, Nami, and Kayle bot lane, I think, and Nautilus in the jungle. So that's a less conventional team comp, but we've seen GLaDOS's Kayle on bot lane before really clean up. So we'll see how this goes. With a Nami on her side, she might be unstoppable. Purple's team comp has a lot of, they're very reliant on Nautilus's ult and Nami's ult for initiation, but once those go down, they have the power to really clean up, especially with Vel'Koz laser and Kayle E. And with Kayle ulting Vel'Koz, he should be pretty much immortal. On blue team, Heimerdinger is very strong right now, especially in lane. We'll see whether he's able to bully out Vel'Koz. And Jinx Karma may be just the combination needed to survive GLaDOS's Kayle.
Yeah, personally, I'm not a fan of Mundo jungle. Like, it works, but I just don't see much reason to play it over other better junglers.
Right, he's really a top laner right now, so I'm surprised to see Pan top and Mundo in the jungle when the other way around would be far more optimal.
It's far more conventional as well. That being said, though, maybe he just really likes his Mundo jungle. It's well practiced, and he's going to prove us all wrong. I always say comfort with your champion and your pick and your team comp is a lot more important than playing what. It also has the added benefit of people forget how to fight it. Like, honestly, Mundo jungle is so rare right now that every time I come across, I'm just like, oh, fuck. I am walking into every cleaver. I'm underestimating his damage. I'm like not giving him the respect he deserves, and so I get a little cocky and oftentimes will die to him. So that could be an influence this game, but hopefully we'll see some good trades on both sides and see what can get set up.
Ooh, Corporate Mundo. I haven't seen that skin in forever.
Lichbane on Urgot with the new changes, yes or no? No, there's no reason to play Urgot. Like, Urgot's just... he's too mana hungry, and trying to build him AP is worthless. His Q doesn't proc Sheen or Lichbane, so why would you do it?
Judgment Kayle is a pretty sweet skin. I don't like the splash art that much, though.
Yes, I am eating like a hobbit. Yeah, I don't like the Judgment Kayle splash art that much either.
But that's because it's back in the day when splash arts didn't take them a month to make, apparently. Which is how it is now.
Okay, can you explain to me again how you win that free Dread Knight Garen skin? You literally just like the Riot, or no, you follow them on Twitter, the Riot page, and they give you a code to claim it.
Isn't it only Europe, though?
No, it's on North America too now.
Oh, huh, okay.
No, I'm like 99% sure that Q does not proc Sheen or Lichbane on Urgot. Like 99% sure. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's my favorite color? 7. Would you be able to get in for a workshop? I haven't been in 2 weeks. Make sure to mention so in the chat rooms when we're selecting players, and Brian will try and get you into a game.
This is the first time I will have seen Battlecast Vel'Koz in game. I think most people prefer his default skin nowadays.
Yeah, I like the Battlecast Vel'Koz skin, but the modulation is just a little too much, and it makes him look fat. So I tend to use the original.
Oh my god, don't body shame this.
I am body shaming him. I'm gonna do it. But yeah, the armor is just so much bigger than his base model. I just feel clunky, and I don't know my own hitbox.
A champion can be beautiful with any size hitbox.
Tell that to Cho'Gath.
I try not to talk to Sho'Gath too much. He's very catty.
It's true. He gets all angry and shouts at you.
He's like, oh, thin privilege is not having to have 6 stacks of feast to be at your full health pool.
Yep.
God, I love new Heimerdinger.
He is a beautiful, beautiful little Yordle thingy. He is a Yordle, is he not?
Yeah, he's a Yordle.
Okay.
And there's so much love put into, like, everything about him. Like his swag walk toggle, his little bounce, his home guards animation.
Welcome to some.
He gets a buff when he lands a pentakill.
Yeah, he's got some good hidden interactions. I like it.
Did you know he has a hidden interaction with your favorite champion, Victor?
On Heimerdinger? What does he say?
Oh, he's like, if you get rid of all humans, no one will be left to appreciate your work.
That is fair. I love Victor so much. I felt mean. I played AP Ezreal versus a Victor earlier, and I was just like, oh, just don't play Victor, please. It hurts me.
It looked like we might have an AFK. We have Pantheon in the fountain not doing anything. Hopefully he comes back. Oh, there he is. Hey, do you want to hear a joke?
Sure, tell us a joke.
What's the difference between a fridge and a toilet?
I do not know.
I don't think I want you to come over to my house anymore.
That's a pretty good one, yeah.
Thanks, yeah.
Yeah. You get like five points of street cred. So Pantheon is back, and he's opted to go for 2 mana potions and a flask. It seems a bit much when you're versus a Kha'Zix. Like, you don't have any inbuilt sustain versus someone who has a little bit, and you're opting to go that heavily into mana regen. I don't know, it just seems a little much. We'll see who lands the first engage. It really boils down, though, to who lands more harass. Obviously, the Pantheon Spears are going to be very, very deadly if just spammed every cooldown, so I understand why he's doing it. I just think it could come back to bite him if Kha'Zix lands a really good early engage.
I'm a really big fan of Vel'Koz, actually. I've been playing him a lot in solo queue, so I'm excited to see how this Vel'Koz does. So deadly in team fights, and with a kill ult, mother of God.
The problem, though, is that the Kayle ult won't block CC, so you're still going to have his ult cancelled out with the tiniest flick of a wrist, and that could come back and bite them. But keeping him alive, his sustained DPS, if he's able to land more than one combo, is potent as hell.
Oh, absolutely, and if he can get a full laser off, it is just obscene.
I see a lot of people are talking about playing him support as a result, because all he cares about is base damage. So if you're able to just spend the entire laning phase lining up your Qs perfectly, and using your E as disengage, and your like level 6 kill potential and team fight potential, it's pretty potent. I like it in concept, but at that point, honestly, I'd rather play someone who has easier to land poke. Like, I would just play Karma at that point. She has very similar sort of a setup.
The problem I have with support Vel'Koz is that the current holy trinity of support is Thresh and Leona and Annie. So we have Mundo, who's like swinging around. He's waiting to see if he can drop a gank on Vel'Koz. He throws the cleaver, but he's not able to follow up on anything. We've talked about how junglers should probably show their face. That might be what he's aiming for, but not a very effective gank by any measure.
Now, we do see a lot of harass going on to this Kha'Zix, and that's what we said would happen with just generally how Pantheon works. We don't see him having to have used any of his flask charges, any of his potions, though. So, honestly, if I were him, I would have just got that one extra health potion. Maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just completely biased against mana potions, but they're generally considered not worth buying. And if you already have a flask, are you really that mana hungry? Mundo
So
going in
Mundo's-
bot lane, lands the slow onto Kale. The Mantra Q comes out from Karma, just hits a minion though. They are able to chain it through though with the Jinx and a second cleaver and pick up first blood over onto Kale. That's going to give them a nice quick advantage onto Jinx, get her a little extra CS, extra experience, and hopefully she'll be able to snowball that and make something happen with it. That being said, GLaDOS has run teleport and is right back to lane with a quick dagger actually to increase his attack speed.
I'm not even going to talk about GLaDOS' items choice. Like, he does what he likes, whatever, it works.
Yeah, we've already admitted, like, he makes it work, and we can correct him all we want, but he's not gonna listen.
Just a quick note, I really like how this Jinx is really toggling her Q often. You see a lot of Jinxes stubbornly stick in minigun form for the extra damage. But to be frank, I don't believe they would have picked up that first kill on Kale if Jinx hadn't toggled on the rockets. And even when she's last hitting, she'll toggle onto whatever form will get her more last hits. So that's really nice to see, just someone who's able to use that Q to the full advantage. Meanwhile, in mid lane, Vel'Koz is holding his own against Heimerdinger. They're even in CS. Vel'Koz has so much range that he doesn't really have to interact with Heimer. He can just stay back and last hit with his combo.
Nautilus is coming in behind on top lane. Does land the hook and the snare. He just flashes out. Kha'Zix should be able to land that with the ignite though. Final tick. Perfect job.
That was very risky. I was shocked to see Kha'Zix go in, but he managed to get back out and he picked up a kill. Definitely worth the cooldowns. And that's a sign that when you know your own champion's limitations and health pool, you can really get away with things that you shouldn't be able to normally.
Agreed, and that is why I always say don't just pick what the counter pick is. Play what you want to play, what you enjoy using, because if you enjoy it, you're not going to feel like it's a chore, and you're going to get better with the character over time. You might lose some games, you might lose a lot of games, but if you are a really good Heimerdinger player, if you're a really good Poppy player, if you're good with any champion in the game, counter picks mean very little. It's going to balance out in the long run, and you're going to gain a lot more rating, and you're going to have more fun in the process.
So Heimerdinger right now has a little nest of 3 turrets that he's able to just stand in. His turrets are in a V formation. He's pretty much immune to ganks when he is in his turret nest, as he can just skedaddle away while his turrets chip away at any ganks. Mundo is in Nautilus' jungle, swings around, lands a cleaver, is chasing him down with his W up. It looks like he's going to land the kill.
Oh, final cleaver misses, but he lands the final auto attack as well.
So just a quick note, he waited in Nautilus' jungle in the bush. The bush was not warded, so Nautilus had no idea what was waiting for him. Then neither team really immobilized. They just let Mundo chip away at Nautilus. So
I do like the decision to take away the blue buff while he's there. It's pretty obvious, but we oftentimes will see people try and land a counter jungle, a gank, a whatever, and in the process, they'll give up objectives. They won't be confident in taking them.
So we talked about this a little last game. Counter jungling is extremely effective at low elos because neither side really knows how to respond to it. If GLaDOS had swung up and given Nautilus a heal, he might have survived. He would have still lost the engagement and lost his buff, but he wouldn't have died. But Mundo was able to just kill Nautilus without any real recourse or punishment.
We're seeing another teleport come in from GLaDOS. Those turret changes where teleporting to turret reduces the cooldown of teleport is actually going very well for him. He's able to go back pretty much any time he wants, get a completely free buy, and then just continue coming back and pushing this lane as hard as he possibly can.
Just a note, I'm not sure if you have all chat on. Nautilus is saying he's said in all chat twice now that he has no hotkeys and he must click everything. That's unfortunate, but all chat is a very potent weapon. When I'm jungling and I gank someone and they go, "Oh wow, what, you need to camp or you need 2v1," that's a sign that I should be going after them because they are clearly mad and on tilt. Don't give the enemy information through all chat because they will happily turn it around and take advantage of that.
And especially in solo queue, a very common strategy and a very effective strategy is you identify the most toxic player on the enemy team and you camp them. Because then they get angry at their team, they get angry at you, they start going on tilt, and then their team falls apart. Obviously, that makes it sound like you're trying to encourage them raging, and that's not it. But if there's someone raging on the enemy team, that is an advantage you can use in your favor. We see the Karma Flash coming out, able to get out to safety. I do like the Nami Kale just harass and hard engage potential that they have. I'm just interested to see, though, if they can counter that with the properly played Jinx Karma poke.
Meanwhile, Mundo swings around and Nautilus's his red, takes red buff and then murders Nautilus. Again, we're seeing Mundo is just camping Nautilus's jungle, and again, Nautilus's team is not swinging around to help him. Obviously, they don't have that much warning, but if they had wards in the jungle, if they had wards in jungle bushes, they could have some more time in which to react and defend their jungler. So, for instance, you really like to drop a ward at red so that you can, as a mid laner, correct?
Yes, I do. As a mid laner, I try and get a pink ward on either my first or second back, and we can then use that to protect the jungle. The idea is that if they try and clear the pink ward, it takes about 5 seconds, because it's 5 auto attacks, and most champions do not attack faster than an attack per second early or mid game. So you can use that to set up free kills for your team. Oh, Mundo, I don't agree with that. They do get the kill onto Kha'Zix, but he walks directly into the turret while already low, so Kha'Zix is going to get bonus damage onto him, and you're immediately going to take some turret shots in the process. If I were him, I would have just sort of poked away with my cleavers and let Kha'Zix done his thing. Or not, sorry, Pantheon. Let Pantheon do his thing, because he can block the tower shots. But yes, as I was saying with the pink wards, anytime you see them try and go and clear the pink wards, that is a signal for you, your jungle, and possibly your side lanes to all collapse and get a free kill onto the jungler. If you get the jungler dead, then you go and take the dragon, or you take the enemy buffs, or you roam as 3 or 4 into your allied lanes and set up more free kills for yourself. And that's turning a very small advantage of, hey, I have 100 gold that I can afford to spend right now. And you're turning that into a very tangible bonus of kills, dragons, buffs, ganks, and just overall map pressure.
So I'd really like to see Purple Team making efforts to protect Nautilus, because right now, Nautilus is level 5. He doesn't have his ult. Mundo, on the other hand, is level 8. That's a massive advantage, and Purple Team really needs to give Nautilus a hand to get back into the game. A lot of teams really let the jungler be self-sufficient, and that means that if they get counter-jungled, they're pretty much useless for the first 10 or 20 minutes of the game.
I also want to point out that Jinx is having a lot of issues last hitting under turret. Her overall mechanics with Jinx seem to be fine. I don't have huge complaints there. But you see a minion coming into tower and she just randomly starts auto-attacking it. It's like, well, okay. You need to keep in mind how many auto-attacks it takes for you to kill it, how many auto-attacks it takes for the turret to kill it. General rule of thumb is that caster minions you auto-attack once, turret hits once, then you finish them off. And on melee creeps, you let the tower hit twice and then you auto-attack once. That's sort of the general rule of thumb. Great ult coming in from Jinx from all the way back. Inner turret here, able to pick up a kill and an assist for herself. So that was a great job, but on any lane, you need to be comfortable with last hitting under tower, because if not, if they push you into tower, if you're shut down, that's just going to snowball further and further. We see a gank coming in onto Pantheon, and he's actually able to turn around and get a free kill for himself.
I was, while you were watching bot lane, I was watching Nautilus maneuvering on top. So the first thing he did was he walked around, and he dropped a trinket ward in the river bush. there was already a trinket ward in the bush. That one has expired. The one Nautilus has dropped is the one up now that is almost dead. And then Nautilus sort of walked back and forth between the two bushes, waiting for an opportunity to go in. Generally, you don't want to stay and wait to wait for the perfect opportunity for a gank, because that is time you could spend clearing your jungle, especially when you're behind as Nautilus. Waiting and setting up the proper gank, if they have it warded, you're basically just throwing experience out the window.
For sure, you constantly need to be moving. You need to be making things happen in every lane that you can. If you're spending more than a few seconds, that's wasted time. I also want to point out, though, that Nami has opted to go for a very slow start. So she's gone boots, she's got a little null magic mantle, she's got 3 potions, some wards, and a frost fang. Sight Stone is the best gold per 10 item in the game. If you're using your wards, which you should be, it generates more effective gold than any of the gold items in the game, regardless of how well you're using them. And it's also the easiest to use, because it's literally, hey, here's 3 main ward, like, choke points, let's drop 3 wards. Boom. You're good to go. You've generated 75 gold per ward that you dropped, and you can just continue on cycling through the map and winning your lane, winning other lanes, and securing map objectives.
So
Instead, she's opted to go for a tier 2 gold per 10 item, which gives her a little bit of damage and harass, but not nearly as much gold generation, not nearly as much influence on other lanes.
a note about top lane. Kha'Zix and Pantheon are both 2 and 1. So a lot of players would glance at that and say they're even. Granted, now they are 2-2 to Kha'Zix 3-1, but a lot of players would say they're pretty much even. But then you look at CS. Pantheon has 98 CS. Kha'Zix has 44. 10 CS is a champion kill. So essentially, Pantheon has, 4 kills on him? In terms
Essentially.
of gold? Last lane is so important because right now Pantheon is 6-2 in terms of gold generation, as opposed to Kha'Zix, who is not nearly as farmed, and that's really going to come back and bite Kha'Zix in the butt if that trend continues. Kha'Zix really needs to catch up in gold, despite being ahead by 1 kill.
He has finished his Hydra now, which is definitely going to help with his wave clear, but it's more of a question of where is that CS going? Is it dying to his turret? Is he just missing the last hits? Is it because he's not in lane because he's dead or roaming or counter jungling? It's fine to be down CS if you're getting a tangible benefit for your team. For example, if you're down 20 CS because you've been helping your jungler and you've secured a dragon and you've secured a gank mid lane or something like that, well, that's not that big of a deal. You're down like a kill or so in CS, but you've actually had an impact on the game.
Somebody's asking, what exactly is counter jungling? Counter jungling is, you can say that each side of the map has their own jungle with the exact same buffs and so on. Counter jungling is when you enter your enemy's jungle and you take away his farm and you take away his buffs, or you murder him in his jungle. The odd one, the jungler for TSM, says, as a jungler, if you cannot kill lanes, your job should be killing the other jungler. And that's why you see a lot of junglers like Wukong, Pantheon, people who can murder other people, essentially, in the jungle are very strong, while Amumu, Sejuani, people who can't stand up to early ganks don't do as well in the meta.
And that's a great example of Nautilus as well, where he has great ganks. He's got a lot of utility on him as a champion and as a jungler, but if you invade him, he falls over like wet paper. Like, for example, a Nautilus at level 3 versus a Lee Sin at level 3. It's not even a contest. Like, Nautilus is dead before he can blink, essentially. And that only gets worse as you continue on through, like, level 6 to level 12, essentially. Which is generally what your jungler is going to be during laning phase.
So, Mundo's been counter-jungling Nautilus all game, and how has he been doing that? He goes to Nautilus, Nautilus is killing his red, killing his blue, Mundo takes the buff, so that's counter-jungling. He takes the buff away, so Nautilus can't have it, and Mundo has it, and then he kills Nautilus. So those are the 2 forms of counter-juggling all pulled off at the same time. And that's really leading to a huge XP advantage for Mundo. Mundo is level 11, while Nautilus is level 8.
So we just saw Kha'Zix try and fight Mundo again, and I don't know why people keep trying to fight this Mundo. You know he has his ult ticking. You know he's healing. You know he's got a lot of tank items. He's got a Ninja Tabby, he's got Ancient Golem, he's got Giant's Belt, a Kindle Gem, and a Ruby Crystal. He has so much health. So why are you trying to duel him? I understand maybe like throwing a combo at him, get his health low, see what you can do, or like trying to have your allies collapse. But just straight up dueling him in the jungle and saying like, okay, I can do this, I can do this. They just keep doing it over and over again, and it's not working out for them, and they don't seem to be adjusting their playstyle accordingly.
So right now, Kale's going for her Gnasher's Tooth. She does have a CS advantage on Jinx, but they're about equal on gold. I'm concerned about Purple Team's ability to siege without an ADC. And I don't mean poke, I mean like take down towers. As Kha'Zix is melee, their only non-melee is Kayle, and she's very short range. So I'm a little concerned about how they're going to take down towers and engage in team fights. They do have a lot of poke. I'm not sure if they can translate that into taking towers.
Yeah, when we've seen GLaDOS play his bot lane AP Kayle, he usually tries to scale up as a you cannot fight us sort of a champion. We've commented and judged his appreciation of very nice ult. So they just collapsed in, got a free kill for themselves. But regardless, what I've seen him do on Kayle is he builds enough damage and he builds enough utility that if there's ever a fight, he just says, well, you can't come in this giant AoE area because I have Hurricane and AP and Lich Bane and all these different items. I can burst you if you duel me, I can out AoE DPS you if you try and do a team fight. I have peel, I have ult, I have all these different aspects of my kit that I can use to well-timed almost perfection. Like he plays a very good Kayle in terms of these workshops. So it's really going to boil down to, can they land the engages using the Nami ult, using the Nautilus ult and hook, in order to set up those fights that he would be so dominant in? Or are they just going to sort of flounder?
Speaking of floundering, right now Nautilus has his Spirit Stone. He doesn't even have his finished jungle item yet. He also has a chain vest and tier 1 boots. He is just very behind, and Purple Team really hasn't been helping him out in terms of they haven't been protecting his buffs, they haven't been warding his jungle, and it's really this is a perfect example of snowballing. As someone asked earlier, what's snowballing? You can look at how Mundo has been treating Nautilus all game, and that is the perfect example. Small advantages turned into a massive, overwhelming XP and gold advantage.
And we're still seeing the same thing top lane here, where Pantheon gets every single CS that he wants, and Kha'Zix just hides under tower, too scared to fight. Yet he's not building any defensive items, he's not building any real, like obviously he has a Hydra, but it's not like he's trying to build extra sustain or tankiness or utility. He's just kind of saying, this is the build I know, and I'm just going to kind of hide here and hope I get farmed. And that may work out for him. But I would want to see him play a little bit more reactively to how the game is going. Maybe getting a little bit of armor, maybe getting a little bit of extra CDR. Build based on what you need to build to be useful.
I'm having deja vu. We're seeing Pantheon shoving to the inner turret. He has one ward, and it's not in a very useful place. So Kayle is able to just swing up and murder him. Absolutely no sweat.
Agreed, and that's a mistake we see a lot of people making, where they're saying, like, I am beastly and manly and everyone should come stop me, but oh my god, they showed up and tried to stop me, so I died.
Right. Having hubris is the #1 way to lose games. You can have 100 kills under your belt, but if you do not play in a smart manner, you're probably gonna die and you're probably gonna lose.
Oh, I love watching Karma played.
Is it beautiful to you? You're just like leaning back in the chair, snifter of brandy, you're swishing around.
Pretty much.
Banner and Command on Heimerdinger I really appreciate because it's a pick that synergizes with his kit a lot. And he's able to just shove all day long. His tower is unscratched. Meanwhile, they're shoving up to the inhib on purple side.
Yeah, I've actually seen a few different Heimerdingers building Banner of Command recently. I don't really like it myself. It's okay. But it definitely does work on him. It's a niche pick.
Cheesy. It's a bit cheesy.
It still entertains me.
Oh, for sure. Meanwhile, I'm really appreciating blue team's like ability to split off and take objectives and then rejoin. That's a really good sign that they're communicating and they have the same priorities as a team.
I want to point out this is a good example of the 3-1-1 split that I was mentioning in the first game. We have Pantheon top, who can easily jump mid. You have Jinx bottom, who just pushes up. She doesn't want to fight. She's just shove into turret, go take jungle camps. Shove into turret, go take jungle camps. She can ult from across the map, or she can get there relatively quickly based on where they are. And then you have someone like Heimerdinger, who's just barreling down mid. He has his banner command, he has his 3 towers set up, he has everything he needs to just constantly shove that lane. No one's fighting, but they're building an advantage in every single lane because they're taking every single CS that comes out of the enemy base. They're not letting them leave, so they're getting both sides of the jungle. And if they ever want to try and fight, they can regroup so quickly and just collapse on them as a team.
Right. Heimerdinger is just, once you give Heimerdinger the opportunity to set up his little nest, he's essentially very difficult to kill. When you catch him in the jungle, he's made of glass. When he's surrounded by his turrets and he can drop a big angry turret, you are in trouble if you approach him. And he's really taking advantage of that.
People, when the Heimerdinger rework came out, everyone complained about and everyone was all about trying to set up the alt version of his rockets, where you land a quick stun and then you use the alted rockets. And that does a lot of damage. It's a great combo. But the actual turret, the utility it provides, the damage it provides, and just overall, it's so good. And people are starting to adjust to that playstyle and use it more and more. We see the flash coming out from Kale.
Kha'Zix has no boots at 25 minutes. Not a big fan of that choice.
Yeah. He could build a lot of different things. I've been sort of pushing people towards the cooldown reduction boots, because if you're not going to go boots mobility because they've been nerfed, and you don't need Merc Treads or Ninja Tabby, which he might. I'm not saying that he should not get Merc Treads or Ninja Tabby because they're great items. But if for some reason you don't need those, the cooldown on them is really nice. They're pretty gold efficient.
What are your thoughts on swiftness?
I don't like them. They have their very niche uses, but up until this point, I've not seen them perform that well. It's like, yay, I still got CC'd, but I'm slightly less CC'd. It just feels so underwhelming. Statistically speaking, they're okay if you're versus a heavy slow team, but I don't know, I just am not a big fan.
So now we see blue team's grouping up and they're approaching bot turret. Nautilus is in their way, Nautilus is trying to body block. The thing is, Nautilus is so far behind that they're not particularly intimidated by him. They back off. They don't do a engage under the tower, which is smart, but they're also pretty aware of the fact that they can't force them to back off quite yet. They're not diving, but they're maintaining their position.
Ooh, very nice alted rockets coming out. Jinx tries to follow up. They get them very low, but nothing really going to come from it. Jinx, in the meantime, though, going to be able to just shred this tower. Kale goes aggressive as a result, and okay. I would have expected to see them go a little bit more aggressive as soon as they got the snare onto Kale. I guess they were scared of her ult coming out and the burst that she can provide. In the meantime, collapsed onto Kha'Zix and got another free kill for themselves. They're then cycling mid, pushing that in. Mundo's a bit low. His ult is down at the moment. He's just positioning really aggressively for the amount of health and cooldowns he has at the moment. I'm not saying that he will die, but
been spot on with ults all game. She's hit most of them, I believe, if not all of them. She's also very good at her snare. She knows, she's very aware of the arming time, and she hasn't really had any big flukes with them yet. She's pretty good at landing them.
there's a very nice flash stun coming out from Pantheon. Heimerdinger landed his grenade, but they weren't able to really follow up. It was enough damage, so Pantheon flash stunned and set up a very, very quick engage, and they were able to pick up a free kill as a result onto Vel'Koz. I would expect them to be able to push an end here. They have Heimerdinger. He needs to set up his nice little turret nest inside the enemy team and just not let any minions pass through. And then as a result, they can have one person just go finish off both the top and mid tower and inhib. Jinx Rock coming through, not going to quite connect, nothing going to come from that. Yeah, so Jinx is doing exactly what I suggested, where she's going top and just constantly splitting out, making advantages for herself. The rest of the team going from the mid inhib, and now they're just going to disengage. They don't really want this fight, so... Oh, okay, apparently they stayed. I was going to say, they don't want this fight, they should back out. They started to, and then they ran directly back in and just died for no reason. That was a little bit of a misplay. It's not going to be that much of an issue, though. I would expect them to be able to just sort of regroup, say, okay, that was bad, but this is what we need to do to resolve it. And as a result, they should be able to set up for a Baron. They have 2 inhibs down on the enemy team. I would love to see something come from that. Kale able to get a free kill onto Heimerdinger. He got a little bit cocky trying to set up his alted rockets again, and just gets blocked out by the Kale ult.
Honestly, I feel legitimately bad for Nautilus. I don't think there's anything more demoralizing as a jungler than coming up to your camp and there's just the little guys left.
Yeah, it is very, very depressing. His anchor will hold him down. So Kha'Zix's still very, very far behind. He hasn't found a way to remedy that, and he still has not bought boots. We are 30 minutes into a game. He's Kha'Zix, and he has no boots whatsoever. That just concerns me a little bit. I don't know his reasoning. I would love to hear him have an explanation for that. But generally speaking, I just don't see any reason why you would not have boots at this stage of the game.
I once heard that you want to try to have boots too by 18 minutes. I don't know where I heard that. This was a long time ago, but it seems like a pretty decent rule of thumb.
Yeah, that sounds like a good area to aim for, because that's when you start really setting up for objectives and team fights. Generally around 15 to 25 minutes is when lanes start breaking down and roaming, turrets are falling, people are roaming between lanes, counter-jungling, taking dragons. That's when it on average starts. And if you don't have boots too at that point, you're going to have a really difficult time cycling through.
Oh no, help. My roommate's fat cat's bothering me.
Uh-oh. Heimerdinger is a fantastic Baron threat because you can tank it with turrets. Turrets do a lot of damage even on their own, and they're going to be able to take that away very, very quickly and safely. Both mid and bot inhib are down, although bot inhib should be respawning soon. So they're going to be sending 4 or even 5 top, sieging that up. Pantheon actually ulting in behind. Great decision to go on to Kha'Zix here. Waits till the stealth to wear off and follows it through. At this point, Nami is here to save him, so he's not actually going to go down, but they did get the ult. Pantheon ult is not really needed when you're already at the turret sieging. It just means he can't go split push.
We've talked a lot about how Jinx should be treated as more of a Vayne than a Graves, for instance. She's a very late-game threat, and she's really showing off why now. The stacking attack speed on her Q is just tearing apart team fights, combined with the execute on her ult means she is quite the threat.
That was a very nice combo, the Nami wave plus the Vel'Koz ult, but it's just not enough. They're too tanky on the enemy team, you're not able to lock them down long enough, and as a result, you're just going to pretty much lose your base here. I would expect this to be pretty much the end of the game. Kayle and Vel'Koz are the only people left up. Kayle is going to take away a kill for herself, but I would expect Heimerdinger to be able to take this top turret. And in the meantime, they have to go defend the base.
So, how would you recommend dealing with Heimerdinger? We see a lot of people in the stream have been saying he's very overwhelming to deal with, especially when he can set up a turret nest. Honestly,
Heimerdinger is a difficult champion to really counter. It boils down to abusing his misplays. And that's a frustrating place to be in. I totally understand people having frustrations with Heimerdinger, but if that's the matchup you're in, you kind of want to pick someone who can deal with his turrets very, very quickly. So just throw cheap skill shots out that from out of range to just destroy the towers as soon as they're placed. Now that they've fixed the recharge rate on them, they're a little less overwhelming. Outside of that, you pretty much just want to ignore him. You want to pick someone who can roam to other lanes and snowball and set up fights. You don't want to fight Heimerdinger inside his turret nests.
Ziggs and Syndra are both very good picks against him. Syndra has the ability to just toss his turrets wherever she wants them, and Ziggs has the skill shots to just drop them turrets as soon as they pop up.
He also has the semi-global ult, so even if you're being pressured really hard in lane, every time there's a fight in jungle or bot lane, you take 2 steps down, throw the ult, go back to clearing mid.
I imagine Lux would have a similar advantage as Ziggs against him.
Especially with her shield, and the fact that she pretty much always runs barrier. So we see things are going a little bit sloppy now. Kayle chasing down, not going to be able to pick up the Jinx now that Mundo is here. Pantheon should be able to return that favor, and they're going to take down Kayle. Ult comes out from Vel'Koz, enough to take down Pantheon, but of course not the beastly Mundo, who's going to return the kill. Jinx is still alive. I want to see her just end the game. Like,
Oh my gosh. Kha'Zix got boots.
Kha'Zix got boots. Okay, they're only boots 1, but it's a start. Okay, his GA
See,
is
right now
down.
we're saying Jinx is just a monster. You can't really deal with her once she gets to a certain point. She doesn't have the burst of Vayne, but her damage is so sustained and kind of unstoppable.
It's completely true. Now, Brian is doing the matchmaking for the next game. If you receive an invite from Felvrick, please accept it. That is the invite for the next match. We're going to try and get into that as quickly as possible. In the meantime, though, we are giving away an RP card. That giveaway is happening right now. Just give me one moment. I just want to check. Okay, our guest shoutcasters appear to be online, so we might be able to cycle you out for a quick break, Requeen. In the meantime, could I have you go over picks and bans? I'll be right back. I just want to organize this so that we can figure out if we're cycling new shoutcasters in or what.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
So, item builds. Heimerdinger has the Banner of Command, Void Staff, Athenes. Looks like he was building towards the Zhonya's. He has a needlessly large rod. Banner of Command, we said, is a little bit cheesy, but it worked quite well. And it really helped him shove, which was what his role was. Pantheon has Hydra, Cleaver, GA, Last Whisper, so he's not very tanky, but he did so much damage that and his passive meant that he was able to really clean up, and that's a pretty good item build. No real complaints with it. Jinx has Bloodthirster, Shiv, Last Whisper. She has another BF sword. I would have liked to see a Guardian Angel come out from her, but since she was immortal all game, I can understand why she wasn't going for that. So no complaints with her item build. I like the Shiv on Jinx, especially because it synergizes with her rockets. So yeah, no complaints. Karma has a Sightstone, the cleanse item, what's it called? Frostqueen's Claim and Leandry's. I really like those items. Leandry's is not the ideal. I would have preferred to see possibly a Zonya's or something similar, but I really like the cleanse item, especially with her team. And then Mundo has Randuin's, Spirit Visage, Sunfire, Ancient Golem, Ninja Tabby. Very tanky, very standard on Mundo. On Vel'Koz has Zonya's and Athenes. Those are pretty standard. He also has Home Guard, Magic Pen Boots, so no real complaints. He does need the Zonya since he's so squishy. And his mana costs are low, but he does spam spells, so I do agree with those picks. Kha'Zix has Hydra, Guardian Angel, Last Whisper, Boots 1. We did criticize the no boots, but otherwise his build seems pretty standard. Nami has the Frost Queen's Claim, Merc Treads, and a Chalice and a Sightstone. Again, we did criticize her build order. She did get off to a very slow start. The Sightstone would have been better as an early pick. And then Kale has Hurricane, Deathcap, Nashor's, CDR boots. We don't really talk about GLaDOS' builds too much. He kind of marches to the beat of his own drum. And then Nautilus was very behind. All he could muster was Mobo boots, a Golem, and a Sunfire. I would have gone with tank boots over Mobo boots. He doesn't need mobility. He needed survivability.